Test 1, 2, Aya. Aya, test 1, 2, Aya. Spectacular.
Press folk, hello, hi. We'll try and get going on time today. I'm Hassan Abbas, press secretary. This is Dan Bartok, PIO. If you guys have any follow-up questions afterwards, let us know.
Afternoon. This is just about a 2 to 3 minute warning right now. Audio checks for everyone. Audio check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Audio check. This is the City of Dearborn, Dearborn Police Department press conference with Mayor Abdullah Hammoud and Chief Shaheen and Council President Serini. We will be starting the press conference in about 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah. Where's Mike? All right. Everybody out there good? Okay. Thank you for answering. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Abdullah Hammoud. I am the mayor for the City of Dearborn. And today we wanted to do an update on the crime statistics across the city. Crime, especially violent crime and theft of valuable property, has decreased across the city for the last 2 years. To date, Dearborn saw a 14% decline in violent crime, which includes robberies and assaults in 2025. That's a cumulative decrease of 20% over the last 2 years. Some highlights that you have before you. Burglaries, which include home invasions, are down 40%. Robberies are down 22%. And vehicle thefts are down 30% year over year. These are tangible improvements in public safety made possible by the men and women of the Dearborn Police Department, who we place our trust in. And we reinforce the trust each year when we make historic investments in our police department with the leadership of our police chief, Issa Shaheen. Chief Shaheen will go into the details of the expanded number of officers we now have on the road, our patrol, as well as the various investments that we have made ensuring that our police department is leading in the cutting-edge technology to provide the best public safety measures for our residents day in and day out, and also ensuring that our men and women in uniform can return home each day safely to their family. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chief Shaheen.
Thank you, Mayor Hammoud. So the mayor outlined some of the statistical reductions, and I'm just so incredibly proud of the men and women of this department. You need to ask yourself how we were able to accomplish some of these reductions, especially over the last 2 years. It's really remarkable. I've had the good fortune of serving this community for 28 years, and the reductions that we've seen in the last 2 years are unlike anything we've seen before. And really, I want to give credit first to the officers that are out there every day doing this hard work. It's really their dedication and their commitment to this community that's made a difference. In addition to that, the mayor's office. You know, I've seen a lot of communities across the state, and what I really love about the city of Dearborn is you have everyone truly pulling in the same direction. You have the mayor's office, you have a city council that funds the things that we need and supports our department and public safety in ways that you really don't see in many places. And really, I want to give credit to all of the city departments, right? And we take a whole of government approach when it comes to reducing crime, and I'm very grateful for all of the city departments that help in that effort. And then finally, and most importantly, our community, right? We have a community and we have a strong relationship based on trust, mutual respect, and transparency. And that's been earned over a long time, and we work at it every single day, and I'm very grateful for that. And it's that community that's allowed us to make some of these really significant investments in technology that we've seen. You know, in the last year alone, we have purchased new tasers, flock license plate reading cameras, a real-time information center that many of you had seen us launch just last week that includes really the first of its kind in the state, a drone first responder program. And then many of you have also seen, literally in this last week, there's been so many new launches. We've had a translation software on our body cams that allows us to translate in real time into 56 languages to be able to meet people where they are in crisis and give them the help that they need. And it's these technologies that have been paired with clear policies, training, and accountability, and these investments that have improved safety and supported more effective policing in our community. And to the mayor's point, we are now staffed at 191 officers. Like I said, I've been here a long time. That's a staffing level we haven't had in almost 20 years. And again, that doesn't happen without everybody pulling in the same direction. Now with that, I'd like to turn over to Council President Michael Serini.
Thanks, Chief. Appreciate you all for being here. Again, my name is Mike Serini. I'm the president of the City Council. And what I'd like to say is reduction in crime, and when we get these information on our agenda, folks, it doesn't happen without, as the Chief indicated, a collaborated effort. One, you have to have a vision from the mayor and the administration on what we want to see for our residents, because I'm a firm believer that the fundamental safety and security of our residents is a top priority of the council and this administration. But then you also have to have an implementation process and a chief that has the ability to go out and find these new innovative ways. I've always said on the council many times, we have to have the best technology, not only the bad guys, whether it's the drones where we're leading in, where we're training people in, whether it's the new tasers or the new equipment, the cameras, we have to have the best. And it's one thing to allocate it, but it's another thing to see it put in practice. So I am incredibly proud of the work of the men and women of the Dearborn Police Department and what they have been able to do. And I know that my colleagues are continuously steadfast supporting financially the taxpayer funds to make sure that we continue to support our department to being one of the top and cutting edge departments in the state. Thank you.
I'll conclude with this. It's for several years in a row now that Dearborn has been recognized as the second safest large city in the state of Michigan. Large cities is those defined with populations over 100,000. We're trailing only one city, Sterling Heights. In fact, on the violent crime reports that the FBI publishes, Sterling Heights had only one less violent crime than Dearborn. So we're just about ready to take over. And so from a safety perspective. But with that, I want to turn it over to see if there are any questions to speak to anything that we spoke about just earlier. Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Sure. So has the criteria for what counts as assault, burglary, robbery, or vehicle theft changed in the past couple of years?
So the question was, has the criteria for assault, burglary, and vehicle theft changed in the last couple of years? Yeah, no. It's the same criteria that we've used since I've been a police officer. Any other questions anybody else might have? Sure, Sue, go ahead.
The city of Melvindale, your neighbor, their police department is in crisis right now. Have you been approached at all by the government of Melvindale for some help in Melvindale, just like Dearborn took over their fire department?
So the question was that Melvindale is having some challenges right now, and have we been approached by their government to help assist them? The answer is there's been no formal conversation about any kind of assistance, but I will tell you, look, Dearborn helps all of our neighbors and when they need, when there's a challenge, and we'll continue to be there for not only our local partners, but our state and federal when they need assistance as well. Anybody else have any other questions?
Council President, you mentioned technology.
Yes.
How did you get the funding for the technology upgrades?
Well, a lot of the funding, most of our funding comes from our general fund, and we do have some special grants. But what we're doing is we're not just sitting back and waiting. If there's funding that's out there available, we're going and getting it. If you look back just a few years ago, we had very minimal flock cameras for our city. Now we have a tremendous more. And I did a whole segment regarding the drones that are being operated that will help find, they actually found a child over by U of M Dearborn with the heat-seeking aspect to find a missing child. So, like I said, we can only allocate the money. These ideas are brought through by the administration, by the mayor, and the police chief, but we're able to make sure that we find the money and allocate it, and the fruits are coming out with the statistics you see right there. I don't think they're one-time grants. The chief could speak more on that, but I can tell you that we, as the council and from the administration, I know the mayor can speak for himself, but I can tell you the city council will continue to fund all the best technology necessary for our officers without any question. So if there was a grant that would run out at a certain time, we will then backfill it with our regular funding, but I'll have the chief speak to that.
I'll speak to it. So some of the funds that are used to uplift the police department, obviously through general fund, but specifically also forfeiture funds. So some of the forfeiture funds have been used to make some of these investments in the technologies that we have today.
Is there anything new or additional that you guys will continue to do to keep the numbers down?
You know, from my perspective, I think ensuring that we have a properly staffed department is extremely important, given that Dearborn in the last decennial census is one of the fastest growing communities, obviously has greater needs. One of the major issues, you know, not technically crime, but speeding and reckless driving is a major issue across our city. I can tell you year over year, accidents that cause bodily injuries are down 15% as well, with the number of citations issued up about 30% or so. And so we'll continue to work with the community, have conversations with the relationships that we've built, ensuring that we're deploying our officers and doing what we need to do. Yep.
Are these reductions consistent across all neighborhoods in Dearborn, or certain areas seeing less improvement?
Sure, thank you for that. The question was, are these reductions seen consistently across the city or just certain neighborhoods? The answer is across the city, we've seen significant reductions in all categories. You know, the one question you asked over there was about, are there anything else that we're going to do to help, you know, reduce crime? You know, the one thing I want to take a moment to just touch on is the culture within the Dearborn Police Department. And, you know, you have a lot of departments out there, and I'll take a moment to kind of do a little bit of recruiting here. You know, our agency, our community, our administration supports the men and women that are in that police car every single day. It's a challenging job, and you know, there's this expression that culture eats strategy for breakfast, right? And so the reality is that we work with our officers, we have a culture of trust within the organization, not just externally with our community, but in the department as well to drive our success. Any other questions anybody else might have? All right, thank you. Thank you for coming, everybody. I appreciate you covering it.
Chief, thanks again. Excellent.